advocacy, community, education, resources, rewards. Learn more at thervadvisor.com.
This is the RV Advisor Podcast with your host, Tom Alexander. Get all the latest information, trends, advice from experts, stories from the road, and more in the world of recreational vehicles. Now, here's Tom.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RV Advisor Podcast. I'm Tom Alexander. And joining me today, it's the Bennetts. It's Julie and Marc from RV Love. Hi, folks. How are you?
Doing great. How are you doing today?
Doing terrific. And it's great to see you. Actually, for the first time, got to see you because you've been on the show before. But that was not only was it pre-pandemic, but it was when we were doing an audio-only version of the show.
That's right.
So I didn't get to see what you looked like. So here we are. Now we can see each other.
And face to the voice.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. And it's great to reconnect with you, and a lot going on. The last time we spoke, you were full timers.
Yep.
Now you've sort of gone to brick and mortar, but still haven't left the road completely, right?
Definitely not. We still are part-time RVers. It's just last year with the pandemic was so crazy. We decided let's get a home base to stay closer to home. And we had some huge projects and wanting to be closer to the family. So we have a home base. And then we just have a smaller camper that we do part-time travel with. We tow it behind the Jeep that we used to tow behind the motorhome. So it's kind of a fun little fix, and it gives us a lot of variety in our travels.
Yeah, that's nice. And are you in where, the Denver Boulder area? Where are you in Colorado?
Yeah, we're in the western slope of Colorado. So, like Grand Junction side of the state, actually closer to Utah.
Gotcha.
But we're still a lot closer to Marc's family now than we were when we were traveling all around the rest of the country. And, I think the pandemic just, got everybody to step back and rethink things. And we wanted to be close to family. And we came up here to hang out while we're sheltering in place, and accidentally found a little house we fell in love with. And here we are.
Wow,
as Mike said, we had some big projects to work on, so it actually makes it a lot easier to hunker down and do that than when you're on the move all the time.
Yeah, that's true. It does take that out of the equation, right? You kind of can just don't have to worry about being at the next place the next day, so to speak, right? You're
right, because RVing and camping has changed so much after the last year and 4 months now.
Yeah.
So things are different for sure.
Very different. It's changed a lot, and it's funny because when when the pandemic first hit, we in the RV industry were, wondering, wow, where's all this going to go? And we thought, well, that'll probably be the end of the podcast. And the absolute opposite happened. It exploded. And all of a sudden people are just, I think they just felt safe in their own sort of controlled environment, so to speak. And here we are, and going stronger than ever. So it's been really interesting. A lot going on with you folks. You've got a new book coming out. Well, it's out. It's out.
Yeah.
It's called RV Hacks. There it is for you folks watching. RV Hacks: 400 Ways to Make Life on the Road Easier, Safer, and More Fun.
Yes.
And for you folks listening, it's a cool book. It's a soft cover. Soft cover book. Look at that. So a lot of pages, a lot of great information there.
Illustrations.
So this is from all your own personal experience, things that you can pass down, and folks can really learn from some of your mistakes and some of your successes, right?
That's right. Well, we full-time for over 6.5 years, and we're both very curious people. So we're always asking other people how they make the life work for them. So it's not just ours, it's things we've learned from other people. And we've recruited some of our friends to be able to contribute to this as well, because some of the things, we don't have kids. So we reached out to people who have kids to be able to provide a few tips on traveling with their kids. So it's been great.
I see. And you travel with some pets, or?
Well, we did. When we first hit the road, Tom, was back in the summer of 2014. And one of the reasons we chose RV travel was so we could explore the country and still work, but also have our dog with us. And so we did that for about 5 months. And then sadly, we lost her to lung cancer. And so we've kind of taken a while for our hearts to heal and to be ready for another fur baby again. But just 3 weeks ago, we got a little mini golden doodle called Sunny, who's a little funny little nugget. And he's sleeping right now. We hope he stays nice and quiet during the interview.
Okay.
So we were pretty rusty on the pet tip. So we reached out to a good friend of ours, Juliette Whitfield, who's a dog trainer, and she's a full-time RVer for several years. And there are some fantastic hacks in the book from her about how to travel with pets. So this is really good timing for us. And then, of course, hitting the road with the new puppy. We're waiting till he gets all his shots here in a few weeks. So next month, we'll be taking him out on his first RV camping trip and be able to just keep picking them up as we go, because you never stop learning in the RV life. And a lot of things we've learned along the way from other RVs that we've met. And as Marc said, when you're walking around the campground, you'll see something outside of somebody's rig and think, man, that's a really smart idea. Why didn't I think of that? And, you know, those kind of things made it into the book. And then just a lot of things, as you know, as an RVer, you're always having to troubleshoot and come up with solutions on the fly, because you know, things break, or you want to be able to store things better, or come up with better ways to cook your meals, or, you know, driving tips, a lot of driving tips in there. So yeah, so we're rounded them all up.
It's amazing. And, you know, we hear that a lot, that it's just, well, we know that it's such a great community, the RV community, and folks are more than willing to help out people along the way and share their tips, their do's and don'ts. And I'm sure as you've been able to impart your wisdom on those folks, they in turn have been able to do the very same for you, and hence the book.
Each other. Yeah, that's what we love about that, about the community. It's such a supportive community, and they are also a lot of creative people, and people that, because they're willing to break out of norms, so they get out into this RV space, and they're out there doing it. And you do, like Julie said, you got to be resourceful, and so people use that resourcefulness to create new great ideas to make it better.
Yeah, absolutely. My guests are Marc and Julie from RV Life, and of course their new book. It's their second book, by the way. RV Hacks is out. It's 400 plus ways to make a life on the road easier, safer, and more fun. When we come back, more stories, more to find out with Marc and Julie. This is the RV Advisor Podcast. Back in just a moment.
The RV Advisor was created for you to protect your rights as an RV enthusiast and arm you with the knowledge to navigate the complex RV industry. There's strength in numbers, and that's why we've built a nationwide network of RV owners, empowering you with the advice you can trust at rvadvisor.com.
Back with Marc and Julie. From RV Love. I said RV Life earlier, and it's RV Love. Okay, we'll get that now that we've got that squared away. Apologies. I you know, there's a lot of RV life going through my head these days.
It's all good.
That's the big hashtag everybody uses, right?
There you go. That's right. That's right. It is RV Love. And again, the book is called RV Hacks, 400 plus ways to get to make life on the road easier, safer, and more fun. And let folks know where you can get it.
Yeah, well, you can get it where all good books are sold. Obviously, online, Amazon, Barnes and Noble. You know, if you're a digital person, you can download it on your Kindle, Amazon Kindle, Nook, Apple Books, all that kind of a thing. So print and digital, it's available everywhere. Target, online.
It's always fun going into major bookstores and seeing your book. That was the big joy for us on our first book too, which is still out there in all those big stores.
Yeah, what's the first book? What's the first book called?
This is the first book, Tom. It's called Living the RV Life, Your Ultimate Guide to Life on the Road. And this came out in late 2018. And they're both published by the same publisher, Simon & Schuster. So, you know, they've been great to work with, and they do such great quality books. And they're just a couple of resources that we're really proud of, because we know that any RVer that gets their teeth into these will really set themselves up for success and probably be better educated than 95% of people that are heading out there and don't know where to start. And this is a great way to get people on their way, you know. And just
it sure is. And you know, Simon and Schuster, I mean, if you're any kind of a reader at all, you know that name. I mean, it's like, you know, Warner Brothers Pictures or something in the book world. It's huge, right? how did that book deal come to fruition? How did that actually happen with you guys?
Well, it's a funny story.
It is a funny story. They've actually reached out to us. I mean, we thought about writing a book that year, and then the publisher reached out to us that year and said, you know what, we love what you guys create on your website, and we just feel like you guys would be a great people to write the book that we have in mind about RV living. And so we said we agree. And so we decided to, we worked with them on an outline and what they felt, and we came together and
yeah, it was a big project.
Yeah, it was a really big project. And exciting news, we didn't mention this earlier, just here a couple of weeks ago, the book actually came out on audio version now. And so that was pretty fun. It's professionally narrated. And so for Julie, we did get an Australian read Julie's part, but it's
really
kind of fun for us even to read it because you take it in differently in an audio format than you do in the print.
You do. Yeah, you do.
That's been fun for us.
I've done a little bit of that, just a little bit in with, with being a radio guy for a long time. I've done a few little reads with some smaller projects, and it's something I really enjoy. And it is a very different sort of discipline to read it in that spirit rather than, the way you hear it in your head sometimes on reading it off the paper. Most people don't read out loud. Most people just hear it in their head, right? So you have to make that transition. It's an interesting process. So that's terrific. So that was the first book. Is the second book going to be also an audio book?
We don't, I hope so. We're waiting to find out because it's a publisher, they're a big publishing house, and I've been asking about the first book from day one, and they said, when it's time, we'll let you know. So it only just came out the same day, actually, Tom. What was really funny is RV Hacks came out in print and digital on July 13th, and then Living the RV Life came out in audio also on July 13th. And there was one moment on Amazon where of the Amazon hot new releases, we were in position number 1, 3, and 4. Once with the print, one with the digital, and the other with the audio, in the top 4 positions on Amazon at the same time. It was crazy.
Wow, you guys, it's like the Beatles or something,
I don't know about that, but I think there's a lot of wonderful people out there in the RV community, and RVing's hot. You said earlier, it's everyone wants to RV, and we never stop learning, any of us. So I think everyone's just keen to pick that up and learn a few more tips that they can share around the campfire, because that's one of the things we love, is just sharing with the community.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely terrific. And, it's also, I want to hear the story, because you are from 2 very different parts of the planet. Marc, you're from Colorado, and unless I'm very much mistaken, I think that's Australian, the accent I'm picking up.
Yes,
we know that.
Right.
So how did you guys meet?
It's funny. I moved out here when the economy tanked in late 2008, and my business unfortunately went up with it. Well, I say unfortunately, but it actually was the best thing that ever happened to me. Otherwise, I decided to pack 2 suitcases and move to America, to Colorado, and start my life over. And I was single at the time. And about a year and a half later, Marc and I met in Colorado on the dating website eHarmony, Tom.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. eHarmony.
It works. We're about to celebrate our 11 years together this weekend. 10 years married and 11 years together.
Wow.
This weekend. Yeah.
Terrific. Well, congratulations. Happy anniversary. 10 years. That's awesome. You're doing something right.
That's
right. Must be, because we lived together in 350 square feet, remember, for 6.5 years.
And so that right there is good for add on another 2 decades. This is your 30th.
We do joke about that, but we lived and worked together in that small space. And in fact, we've lived in an RV still longer than we ever lived in a traditional home together. So
wow. That's great. That is great. Well, 10 years coming up this weekend. Any special celebration in mind, anywhere you're going?
We are going to a winery, and they're having a wine tasting dinner with just about 30 people. We don't know them. It's just one of those ones you book at the winery. So we'll meet some new people and drink some wine and eat some good food and clink a glass and say happy anniversary.
Yeah, good for you. That is great. And we should make a sort of a regular thing and checking in on you guys and seeing what's next, and wherever your next destination will be. Do you have any plans coming up to just hit the road for a few days? Anything major?
Well, we've got some short road trips here in Colorado next month.
Do some shorter trips local.
First one with the puppy.
And then we're planning on going to the Balloon Fiesta
In New Mexico,
in New
Albuquerque.
Mexico.
Oh, okay.
That's an RVer highlight, because if you park in the right area, the balloons right after they launch come right over you, and that's a pretty special event, and it's very RV focused. So we'll look forward to that again.
Yeah, we're
Great.
excited for that.
Great, wonderful. Well, let's not let another, year and a half, 2 years pass before we have you on the show again. Let's make this, don't be strangers, as they say.
That would be
We'd
great.
love to have you on again, Bennett. It is Julie and Marc Bennett from RV Love. Got it right that time. RV Love. And make sure to check out their book, RV Hacks, 400 plus ways to make life on the road easier, safer, and more fun. There's the book for you guys viewing. And believe me, it's for you folks just listening, it's a really cool cover. But don't judge a book by its cover. Just buy the damn book. That's all.
Damn book. Go learn some things, and hey, send us some hacks of your own. We love hearing them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's great. Thank you folks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks,
for
Tom.
having us.
Bye,
This is-
everyone.
So long. This is the RV Advisor podcast. We'll be back in just a moment.
Buying an RV is an exciting moment, like buying a new house. You should inspect the RV and the contracts thoroughly. You may not know what to look for, and that's where the RV Advisor comes in. GG and her experts are here for you at rvadvisor.com.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the RV Advisor podcast. Wrapping things up, just want to let you know that if you want to join us on the program, very simple. All you have to do is check in with our guest coordinator, Neve Carey. It's N Carey at thervadvisor.com. N Carey at thervadvisor.com. And if you're interested in being a guest on the program, we would love to speak with you. And of course, for anything and everything RV, visit us at thervadvisor.com. thervadvisor.com. Till next week, we'll see you. Have a great weekend. So long, everybody.